Tariq. Colleagues coming. Are we present? Tariq, hearing me? Hope I didn't scare you.
Yes, sir.
Cool. You know if your classmates coming?
Then myself could it you would be able to make it this evening.
Who's that?
That way.
Oh, okay.
And I still haven't heard from him.
Yeah, I figure. He did the quiz though, so at least we know he's alive. All right. So Damoy says that he won't be present. That is fine. That means we can get started. You ready to start?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So the slides are posted on Canvas. Um, I realized that I didn't post these slides for the review session that we had done, but it's posted now. So everything is up. Last week's slides and this week's slides as well. All right. So let me see. I was looking at the results for the quiz that you guys did, and it seems I may have made the quiz a bit too easy. I haven't
Yes,
looked at
so,
the
sir.
what's that?
Why do you say so, sir?
Why do I say this? I haven't looked at the short answer question part of it yet. I just looked at the multiple choice, and everybody get bills from the multiple choice, which is I guess good, but also I don't know, for a teacher it kind of suspicious, but it's all right. This being the first assessment, it's based on the first unit. I guess it doesn't have to be all that difficult, so maybe it's okay. Maybe you guys are just really good students.
Yes, sir.
We'll see as time goes on. All right, you can see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so we're jumping into a brand new unit today, Unit 3, since we just got out of the coursework, the first assessment that we did. Um, by the way, can you see the multiple choice part, like the results for the multiple choice part of the quiz? Or do you
Yeah.
have to? Oh, you can. Okay, so you know you get bills. Okay, cool. Good. So yeah, I will see if I can get the second part graded. Maybe today, maybe by the end of the week. One sec, hold on. So, like I said, what we're going to be looking at today is right, the beginning of Unit 3. Um, just like the units before, Unit 3 is not a very long one. We're going to be going through it, I think maybe 3 sessions it'll take us. Um, so what we're going to be looking at for this unit is system integration challenges and best practices. Let me hit this slide, hold on. Yeah. Where am I? Best practices. Yeah, so in Unit 1 and Unit 2, we learned how to connect systems and we learned what happens to a product or a system over time. But in Unit 3, it's going to ask a different question. We are presented with a different question. The question is, why do integration projects fail? And what do professionals do to prevent failure? So that's the question that we're presented with, and we're going to be learning how to solve or how to, answer that question. We're going to be covering a few challenges in tonight's session. Where am I? Let me go here. Yeah. So in tonight's session, we're going to be covering a few challenges. And these are the 6 most common challenges or most common things that can go wrong in an integration project. Today we'll talk about that, and then between Friday and next week, Tuesday, we're going to be covering the best practices, that being the solution to those problems that we're going to be talking about tonight. So you can think of tonight as the diagnosis, and then Friday and Tuesday is the treatment for the problem. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this unit is going to be very relevant for the assessments to come. Um, you're going to be given scenarios that ask you to identify challenges and recommend best practices or recommend solutions. So everything that we're going to be covering in the next 3 sessions matter. Not to say that the stuff that we did before doesn't matter, but I'm telling you that you need to pay extra close attention to this particular unit. All right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Question. Well, it would be good if Samuel was here as well. Do you guys, and it's okay if you don't, everybody learn differently. Do you guys take notes during class or you just rely on the recording on the
Just
slide?
rely on recording, sir.
Okay. All right. The reason I ask is because with the information I'm going to be giving in this session, like I'm going to be telling you some stuff and I'm going to be asking you to like recall some stuff. So I think instead of me going back and forth between the slides to refer to those things, for example, this slide, you're going to want to remember the things that are on this slide. I'm going to be talking about each one of these individual things. But if you could write them down so that I don't have to flip back and forth, either write them down or put them on your phone or something like that. Yeah, it would help. Just a suggestion. If you think you can do without it, then fine. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, right. So the 6 challenges that every system integrator will or may face. We're going to be going through that. And those are multiple vendor responsibilities, varying stakeholder perspectives, insufficient support infrastructure, product transfer, conflict of dual assignments, and insufficient training and poor planning. And to help with making this concrete, to solidify all the examples, I'm going to be going through, I'm going to be threading them into one common example. So like I'm going to be talking about a hypothetical company that will, for example, have these problems so that you can relate to it a little bit better. So in this hypothetical company, you're going to imagine a retail chain, call it Island Mart. And they have 12 stores across the island. They're trying to integrate 3 specific systems together. At the moment, those 3 systems are independent. So the data that flows into them is being entered manually by the employees. So we have an integration project on our hands to integrate these 3 systems. The 3 systems are the point of sale system that every store has, a centralized inventory management system. So it's just one inventory management system. And then a brand new e-commerce website. When I say e-commerce website, I'm talking about like a Shopify. You guys are familiar with Shopify. You told me that you guys use Shopify, right?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So just to restate, the POS or the point of sale system, each of the stores, every store has one of the POS systems. And then each one of those POS systems supposed to feed into or connect to a centralized inventory management system. And then you're going to have one brand new e-commerce website or like a Shopify website. So that's 3 different systems. three different vendors, one integration project. And I'm going to be describing to you several scenarios from different angles where the integration project can go wrong. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here's the first challenge. Challenge one. So what I'm going to be doing with this is I'm going to be describing each one of these to you. And then at the end of this, I'm going to be going through a small activity where you're going to have to identify what these challenges or what the challenges are happening in the scenario I'm giving. So that's why I say it'd be good if you could write it down. But yeah, so first challenge, multiple vendor responsibility. So this is about coordinating different vendors and third-party providers and dealing with the compatibility issues and accountability gaps that come with it. So here's what it would look like in the example of Island Mart, the hypothetical company. The POS system is made by one company, right? The inventory system is made by an entirely different company. And in the e-commerce platform, the Shopify website, that's made by a third completely separate vendor. Each vendor built their system independently, and none of them designed their product to work seamlessly with any of the others. So a customer buys something online. What's supposed to happen is the order needs to flow into the e-commerce platform through to the inventory system to deduct the stock. And then the POS system is supposed to, the POS system in the store is supposed to prepare the order for pickup. But at the moment, the data doesn't flow. The systems are individual. Right now, no, they're not individual. For some reason, some unknown reason, the data is not flowing. Something is broken in between the systems. What I think has happened is something is broken in between the e-commerce platform and the inventory system. So somebody tried to make a purchase online, and the data is not flowing to the inventory system. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call the e-commerce vendor, the people that made the Shopify website. I'm going to call them. When I call them and tell them about the problem, they say that the system sent the data over to the inventory system properly. And the problem must be with the inventory system. All right. So that's what the Shopify website people say. So now what I'm going to do with that information, I'm going to call the inventory vendor. Now, when I call the inventory vendor, they're going to tell me that their system didn't receive anything. The problem is with the e-commerce system. So in a case like that, with the two people I called, nobody takes responsibility. That's multiple vendor responsibility. When something breaks between the systems and each vendor points at the other vendor, right? So this is one of the most common frustrating challenges in system integration. And the more vendors that are involved, the worse it's going to get. So with that in mind, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a situation where two companies might be blaming each other for a particular problem? Like maybe whether it's related to your phone or internet, or you ever buy something online? You buy things online, right? Like on Amazon?
Yes, sir.
Mhm. Has it ever happened where you tried to buy something on Amazon and Amazon said that the money never reached them? So you call the bank and the bank say, oh, something wrong with Amazon, you need to purchase it again. But when you call Amazon, them say the bank never give out the money. Any kind of situation like that?
I never got that specific situation, but I've gotten situations where the bank and Amazon weren't really meshing together at the time for
Mm-hmm.
the specific bank account I was using.
Mm-hmm.
I had to use a different bank account.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's not a case where like you were trying to call them and they were both blaming each other, were they?
I use the email support and they're saying they can't the problem is not on their side.
Okay, got you. Right. So that's similar. So with a case like that, you just had to deal with two different companies, right? But in a
Yeah.
case where you are a systems integrator and you're trying to integrate or mesh different systems together, the more systems that you have, the more people that you're going to have to follow up with, and the more people are going to say, oh, it's not me, check them, right? So that's a nightmare. That's one of the challenges. The first challenge, challenge number one. We're going to look at challenge number two now. All right. Challenge 2, varying stakeholder perspectives. So you have different teams within the same organization or same company having conflicting goals, conflicting priorities, and conflicting expectations. Getting them aligned is going to be often harder than the technical work. So going back to Island Mart, our hypothetical store. The store managers, they want integration to be invisible. When I say invisible, what I mean is they don't want anything to change about how people use the current POS systems or the point of sale systems. They want it to be so that when it is integrated into the system that we're trying to integrate now, they want the POS to work the same. They want it to make it seem as if nothing ever changed about it. It's supposed to integrate and still automatically handle the flow of deducting stock from the inventory system, but they don't want anything about the front facing part of it to change. So that's what the store managers want. That's what they want. The marketing team, what they want from this integration project is they want the e-commerce site to have a real-time inventory so that they can run flash sales. Meaning if they want to make it so that these particular products are cheaper now for this week, they can just go in, make changes to it, and it automatically change the price of them without them having to go and do any other further changes. So that's what the marketing team wants. And then now the IT team, they want to go slow because they're worried about security. They don't want to make any quick changes and have anything break down. So they want to take each step. They want to take each integration part step by step to make sure that nothing breaks. They want to go slow. And then while all these people are having their fancy dreams and all their wants and desires, the finance team, they're just watching the budget. And all they want is to know why this costs so much money. All right. So in the different teams, all in the same organization, everybody wants something different. They want a different result from this integration project. The store managers, they want stability. The marketing, they want speed. IT wants caution. And finance, they want savings. So if you, as a systems integrator, try to make everybody happy at once, you'll probably end up making nobody happy. Or worse, the project stalls and then nobody can agree on priorities at all. As a system integrator, part of your job is going to be understanding these differing perspectives and find a common ground and get agreement on what matters the most. And unfortunately, this is a people problem, not so much a technology problem. All right. So that is challenge number 2. That is identifying the varying stakeholder perspectives. Next challenge. Insufficient supporting infrastructure. This one is more technical. So the insufficient supporting infrastructure, this challenge lies with existing IT infrastructure not being able to scale, not having the right security, or maybe not being interoperable to other support system integrations. Going back to Island Mart, let's say, for example, you have a store. And, sorry, no, all the stores are connected to the main office, like to the central server by basic internet. Like they're using the cheapest flow internet plan, which is fine for email. You can send email on that, no problem. But the problem comes where you're trying to have the real-time syncing of the inventories across all of the 12 locations. The basic internet is not good for that. The POS terminals, all of them run on Windows 7, which is no longer supported, as we discussed in the past. So that means they're not getting any security patches. And in the server that is running at the head office, that server was bought in 2015 and it is running at capacity. It's running with a full hard drive at the moment. So you as a system integrator, you could design the most elegant integration architecture, meaning like the software that you build to make it so that all of our 3 systems are integrated. You could build the best integration platform. But the problem is, if the network can't carry the data, if the machines can't run the software, or if the server can't handle the load, it's not going to work. So it doesn't matter how good your software is. If there's something wrong with the infrastructure, you will not be able to accomplish the system integration goal that you want. So what you have to do as a system integrator is assess the existing infrastructure before you start integrating. You can't do it after. You have to do that first. And then this is a challenge that catches people by surprise, typically, because they focus on the software, but they forget about the hardware. They forget about the network and the security layer that will run below the software. Question to you, with this in mind, if you were hired to assess Island Mart's infrastructure before the integration, can you tell me what the first thing you would check would be? Like they've given you the task to merge these three systems together, and they tell you that they want to run it on their own in-house on-premise servers. What would you check first as a system integrator?
You would check the specifications of your hardware.
Yeah, that is what I had in mind as well. When you say specifications of the hardware, tell me what you mean though.
The amount of storage, the amount
Mm-hmm.
of um the CPU and such and such.
Exactly. Okay, good. So that's the server related stuff. So yeah, that
Yeah,
would be part of it. But that is honestly the first thing I would check as well, because if I'm going to be writing software, I want to make sure that them have the hardware to actually support the software I'm building. So yeah.
I want to see how old it is and so.
Exactly. Right. So other things that you need to check as well, even though what you're saying is absolutely correct. You want to check things also like network speed or network reliability. You mentioned the server related stuff, so that would be like server capacity. And when capacity doesn't have to do with only storage, even though storage, yes, is very important, but like the ability of the server itself to perform a particular action, that's what I mean by server capacity. The OS that it's running, the OS version, and how it stands against the current, I guess, security environment, or what I want to say, security. Basically, I just want to say that you want to check to see if it is good to stand up against the existing. Uh, you want to see if it can fight against the viruses. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm trying to make it sound smart. But anyway, yeah. Right. Okay, not viruses only, but like intrusions and all the other security risks that you have to face.
And vulnerabilities and so.
Right, vulnerabilities. That's a good word as well. Okay, cool. All right, so that would be insufficient supporting infrastructure. So that's challenge number 3. Okay, challenge number 4 now. Any questions so far, by the way? We'll have 6 challenges. I've gone through 3 of them. That makes sense so far?
Okay, support. Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Okay, so challenge 4, product transfers. And this one can also be known as machine to machine or M2M communication. So if you hear me say M2M, I'm talking about machine to machine communication. And this one kind of similar to the interoperability problem that we looked at in the previous unit. So this one is about ensuring seamless data exchange between systems without delays or errors. Going back to Island Mart as our example. The POS system stores transactions data in a proprietary format. When I say proprietary format, you know what I mean by that, right? Meaning it's not an open format. It's not something that is widely available. It's something that is specific to this application, specific to the vendor. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that's a proprietary format. The inventory system that works with XML. So it expects XML. It uses XML for input and output. And then the e-commerce platform, that being a website, a modern website that runs on a REST API, that's going to use JSON for communication. So going back to the 3, the POS system that uses a proprietary format. The inventory system uses XML, and the e-commerce platform uses JSON. So we have 3 systems that use 3 different data formats, that use 3 different data communication methods. So getting data to flow accurately between all 3 systems is going to be a technical challenge, like we talked about in the previous unit, right? Even when you get the formats right, there's also going to be a timing issue in this example. And a timing issue could come in the form of, let's say, for instance, you have a customer buying the last item online. So they're online and the inventory say they only have one thing left or one particular item of this type left. So they buy it online. But then in the exact same moment that the person is buying it online, somebody is in the store buying that same product. So the transaction goes through, but there's only one item, which is known as a race condition, which is a classic M2M problem. You have two different endpoints trying to navigate toward the same goal, and there's only one asset left to fulfill that goal. How do you, as a system integrator, be, well, it's not a question for you, but something to think about is how would you make it so that your system is able to account for two different avenues, potentially not colliding and not conflicting with each other? That's known as a race condition. All right. So machine to machine challenges get more complex as you add more systems. And you can think about this in a similar way as the star or the spaghetti integration type, where you have three systems. Where you have three systems, you have to manage three different sets of connections. Five systems, you have to monitor 10 different connections. And with 10 systems, you have 45 connections. And the scaling goes up, or the number goes up as you scale up. So similar to the star, the spaghetti thing, right? Right, so that is with the machine-to-machine communication. That's challenge 4. We got challenge 5 now. Conflict of dual assignments. This one is another people-related one. So we have conflict of dual assignments. And this is when staff are expected to be doing their regular job, their regular day-to-day job, while also working on the integration project. This would be more of a case where, it's a small business, maybe small to medium-sized business, and you don't have an ICC, or like a dedicated ICC, or maybe you didn't hire an external integration firm. You just have the people that are already working there having dual roles. They do their regular 9 to 5, and then they get the integration project, and now they're expected to do that as well. So example, at Ireland Mart again, the IT manager is responsible for keeping all 12 stores' systems running day to day. And that would look like fixing printers. Well, not necessarily him or her fixing the printer, but making sure that the printer get fixed, making sure that passwords get reset, managing the system backups. And then now all of a sudden, they're supposed to be the lead of the integration project. So they'd be like, for example, in a meeting about API specifications, when a store, while they're in the meeting, one of the stores called because one of the POS systems crash. So then they have to drop everything and go fix the POS, because the longer the POS stays offline, that's the more money they're going to lose. So the integration meeting gets postponed again, right? So this happens all the time in like I said, smaller mid-sized companies. They don't have a dedicated integration team or dedicated integration staff. So the same people doing the daily operations in IT, they're also doing the integration. So because of that, deadlines going to slip, quality going to drop, and people going to get burned out. And this is one of the most common real-world challenges. A development team preparing for an upgrade while also maintaining existing products. That tension caused in that scenario is what is going to cause the challenge. Yeah. So it's another people-related issue. And it comes about, like I said, when we don't have a dedicated team, like we don't have a dedicated ICC or an external integration team that's handling the integration. Can you hear the background noise? Do I need to turn
No,
this off?
sir.
Oh, you don't? Okay, cool. All right. So that's challenge 5. Challenge 6 now. Question so far? Going to the last one.
None so far.
Okay. So challenge 6 is insufficient training and poor planning, another people-related problem. So let me see. This is one of the skills, or you find that this kills more integration projects than any of the other challenges. The integration itself, after it's been implemented and put to the company, it may work perfectly, from a technical standpoint, meaning like the system itself, it has all the features that it's supposed to have. And in a particular scenario, it will do what it's supposed to. But if the people who have to use it weren't trained in how to use it, or the project wasn't properly planned from the start, then the integration may fail. It doesn't matter how good quality the product is. If the people that are using it don't know how to use it, or if a certain level of planning wasn't done, then the integration may fail. I'll explain what I mean by the a particular level of planning that needs to happen. I'll explain that in a second. But going back to Island Mart, for example. So the integration project has come to full fruition and it's gone live. So everything is done. The e-commerce orders start flowing to the stores. But here's the problem. The store staff, they were never trained on how to process the new orders. They don't know how to check the tablets, the iPads. When the order come in, they don't know how to check the iPad to see when a new order comes in from online. They don't know how to mark an order as fulfilled after the user gets them product. Sorry, not the user, the customer get them product. And then now, in addition to that, customers are complaining that the orders aren't being ready for pickup because the staff never know that we're supposed to check the iPad to see that the order came in. The system itself works, but the people don't. So that is the insufficient training side. The poor planning side now. The poor planning side might come in the form of maybe nobody knowing what a done product looks like or a done integration system looks like. Meaning, for example, the marketing team thought that integration would include a loyalty point system or a loyalty points program, right? But the IT team never scoped that. They had no idea that it was supposed to even include that. So where the marketing team get this information from? 3 months pass and everybody's still arguing whether or not that was supposed to be a part of the integration. That is poor planning. So poor planning comes in the form of unclear requirements, missing scope definitions, or no agreement on deliverables upfront. So the challenge in this case is two problems wrapped into one. Training is about people using the system, and planning is about the people who built the system. Both of those things have to be right. They have to be correct, and they have to be in working order. We get that? Is that clear? Do we
Yes,
agree?
sir.
Okay, so that's the 6 challenges. And like I said, in this session, we're just going to be talking about the challenges themselves, talking about the problems. And then next class, we're going to be talking about solutions. Before we get to the solutions, like I said, given we have gone through the 6 challenges, I want to do a small activity. I'm going to read a scenario for you. And you are going to tell me, based on the scenario given, what challenges can you identify? Let me see. Right. So this is what I was saying about, you writing down stuff so that I wouldn't have to go back, because you're going to have to go back and tell me which of the 6, not which one, but which of the 6 challenges you can identify. You can have the slides up as well, because I have them on Canvas. So I'm going to go through this scenario, and you're going to tell me which of the challenges you can identify. Good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Brightpath, a brand new university in Kingston, Brightpath Academy. They're integrating their student registration system, so that's their existing student registration system, into a new LMS, or a learning management system, and also an online payment portal. The learning management system would be similar to like a Canvas. So they wanted to basically make it so that when a new student is registering for a particular program, the LMS, or their version of Canvas, takes that information and makes the student, or makes the course content available, or the program content available to the student automatically. And then it's supposed to also, because I mentioned the payment, where is it? The payment portal stuff, it's supposed to automatically know, based on the program and courses that the person registered for, it's supposed to know how much to bill them. So that's what they want as the integration. The registration system was built in-house 10 years ago. So some people that work at the university, they built it. 10 years ago. So that's the first system. The LMS, or the learning management system, that's a cloud product that was built from some overseas vendor. It runs in the cloud and it was made by some international vendor. And then the payment portal was built by a local fintech company, financial technology company. So again, three different systems, three different vendors. The university's IT team now of three people, only three people, is handling the integration while also maintaining the existing systems. When I say maintaining existing systems, what I mean is they're also doing their regular, ordinary, everyday 9 to 5 job, but they also have to be the one to perform the system integration. Faculty members now, so done with the IT team, the faculty members, they were told about the integration last week, and they're unhappy that they were not consulted. And in the campus network frequently drops during peak registration periods, meaning like people are registering for programs at like September morning. As soon as a influx of people start to jump on the registration system, then the servers break down, the application breaks, the application drops. So that's the scenario. I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about it, and you're going to tell me, given the scenario, which of the challenges stick out to you. So you can tell me whenever you're ready. And you will justify your answers for each one of the challenges that you can identify.
I'm ready now, sir.
All right, go through. Mm-hmm.
So the first one would be the multiple vendor responsibility. You
Mm-hmm.
have the one for the inbuilt house and the new cloud-based LMS and the online payment system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the next one I identified was the conflict of dual assignments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The IT of three is now handling the integration while maintaining the existing system.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one would be varying stakeholder perspectives because the
Mm-hmm.
faculty were told about it last week and they're not happy with the
Right.
choice.
Right. Right.
And the
Right.
last
Good.
one now would be,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, the product transfers end to end.
Mm-hmm. Product
Uh,
transfer.
With the last one with the
Mm.
campus
Okay.
network,
Tell me why.
I kind of it's either I either say the product transfer are insufficient infrastructure.
Okay. Let's go back to that one. And let's read
It
what that
could
one
be
says.
because,
So,
like I said,
mhm. Go on. Wait, are you? Hello? Oh no, did the internet drop?
SSR.
Oh, you weren't talking, or I didn't hear what you said.
Also, what you said, sir, you chipped out a while ago.
Yeah, you chipping in and out too. Can you hear me? Oh no.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I was asking you to continue. You were comparing insufficient supporting infrastructure with the product transfers. This one, wait, this.
Um, as the point to explain with the student registering courses and the system is having issues with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if it is a case could be poor infrastructure or the management, the M2M. Because it
Okay,
could be
I
a
get what you're
case
saying.
that they don't have the proper infrastructure to handle the amount of students,
Mm-hmm.
or it's on the system side that you can't handle the amount of response at the same time with the same kind of course.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So the way I want you to think about it is because of the scenario, the wording of the scenario. Let me see, where is it specifically? It says that the campus network. Excuse me. It says the campus network frequently drops during peak registration. So that wording is supposed to imply that the system breaks down sometimes. It works
That's
sometimes
only
and
when,
sometimes it don't work.
so at
Yeah?
peak registration, it would be at like full capacity, it is
Right,
saying.
exactly. Yes. So during this peak time,
So I'd say it's more
um,
about infrastructure than
is more about what?
infrastructure problem.
I agree. So I would say that that is more of, just as you said, the insufficient supporting infrastructure. Yeah. So it might be a case where the infrastructure that exists at the moment is able to support the processes that are expected when it's not very many people on the system at the same time. But as soon as it gets to be under heavy load, it breaks down because, it wasn't designed or built to handle that level of load. Not to say it can't do its job, it can do its job. But when a bunch of people start to expect these demands of it or these things of it, it can't do it all at once because it gets overloaded. So yeah, I would consider that to be challenge three, insufficient supporting infrastructure. I think you named four of them though, and I was looking for a fifth one. Let me
Can I
see.
go back on the scenario?
Sure.
Okay, a fifth one. So,
I guess when I think about it, the fifth one, it kind of ties into another one. It kind of ties into the
I
one
remember.
about. Hmm?
So far, I said multiple vendors,
Mm-hmm.
varying stakeholders.
Mm-hmm.
So I did one, two, three.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the fifth one. So the insufficient training.
I
And
agree with insufficient
poor
training. Yeah.
planning.
Yeah. Yeah. So it would be the poor planning part of the insufficient training and poor planning challenge. Tell me why you say it though.
Because let's say I'd say it's the poor planning side as it wasn't consulted with the faculty, and it was sprung onto the team of three that is already
Mm-hmm.
handling the maintaining the existing system.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess you could think of it that way. I'm a little bit hesitant about the second part, but yeah, I agree with you overall. So it comes mostly in the fact that it was a case where the people that are supposed to be, well, the faculty that are going to be involved in using these systems, they were only notified about this integration last week and they weren't consulted. So that is poor planning, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's why I say I would include insufficient training and poor planning into this as well. Yeah.
Yes,
Um, so with that in mind, those last two, you're going to notice how these challenges they stack on top of each other, right? You're rarely going to find just one challenge in a system integration project. In a real integration project, you're going to have maybe three or maybe four of these problems or challenges happening at the same time, and they're going to make each other worse. The network problem is going to make the M2M problem exchange. It's sorry, the network problem that you identified, even though I said that there's not going to be necessarily the machine to machine data exchange a problem, it's going to make it harder. So it's a case where you're going to be having two systems that are supposed to be communicating, but because of the insufficient infrastructure, you're going to find that the machines will not be able to communicate with each other. So not to say that the machine to machine communication was the root cause, but one channel challenge caused another one. Yeah.
oh,
Um, and another one, the dual assignments means that the teams don't have time to train the faculty. That could come about, yeah, where a part of the whole planning initiative was to be so that the people, the faculty, when the system is being built, the faculty, sorry, wait, that's what I about. When the project is being integrated or the integration project is being carried out, you might find that it would have been on the roadmap or ideally on the roadmap to train the people to use the system, the newly built system. But because we don't have, which one is it? Is it number not two? Because of the conflict of dual assignments, because of conflict of dual assignments, poor planning happens and they don't get time to train the faculty members to use the system. So you can think of it as a case where one challenge feeds into the next one. Get what I mean?
It's basically a chain reaction, sir.
Exactly right. The chain reaction. Yeah. All right. Um, I guess it's because we only have just you on the call tonight, but that's mostly it for this part. Yeah. I did kind of want to have another one of the activities just to, wrap it up, but I guess you can probably look at it next class. So what we'd have covered just now, we covered the six most common challenges in systems integration. We looked at multiple vendor responsibilities, vendors blaming each other when the blaming each other when things break. We looked at varying stakeholder perspectives, and that is when different teams want different things. We looked at insufficient supporting infrastructure. That's when hardware and network can't handle the integration. We also talked about the product transfers. Uh, that is when getting data to flow from one system to another in different formats. Sorry, my mistake. With product transfers, which is getting data to flow between systems in different formats without any errors or without any delays. Conflict of dual assignments, where you have people doing their day-to-day job and the integration job at the same time. And insufficient training or poor planning. That is when the system works, but the people do not work, or the project was never properly scoped. So I'm not going to look at the solutions to these problems today. I'm going to be doing that on Friday instead. And we'll start on Friday and then move into Tuesday. But these best practices, these are the strategies that professionals use in order to prevent or manage these challenges that we covered tonight. And for each challenge, there's a best practice. Um, in the future assessments that you'll be doing, you'll be given a scenario, and you're going to ask for both. You're going to be asked what the existing problem is, and then a solution for that problem. So you name the challenge, and then you recommend a solution. All right.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to ask you to review these six challenges before Friday. Know them by name and be able to explain them in your own words. And if you can give examples, that would help as well. So we'll do that before Friday. And then Friday, we'll talk about the solutions. That good?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So Friday, we'll talk. Yeah.
And take care, sir.
Yeah, man, you too.